Hey everybody, welcome to our live earnings preview here on Micron. Glad to have you back with us. I know earlier in the week on Tuesday, we think it was Tuesday or it was Monday. That's all rushing together now. We did Nike. We had a quick report on Nike there. I wanted to thank everybody for chiming in on YouTube there. So I'm going to give a couple of special little YouTube shout outs here. So thank you to Levy918 for going ahead and chiming in, talking about Nike. Also want to thank Steve Chappelle for kicking in his call spread, his bearish call spread that he was short on. It looks like hopefully that will end up eventually working out for you. And then Rough. I know that's a pretty funny tagline there. But thanks again for chiming in. I hope you guys can watch our feed today and again chime in so we can start getting some excitement centered around this thing. So Micron Technology, they basically make the RAM chips, the random access memory. So these are the quicker acting memory chips that you're going to have inside of phones, laptops, computers, and things like that. It differs from your traditional kind of hard drive where longer term memory is stored. This is kind of the short term stuff that the computer is accessing or the processor is accessing really quick, bringing to the front of the fray. Now, we've had a little bit of a rough time in Micron as they've been sort of changing their manufacturing process and ramping things up for the unleashing of new technologies. And part of that new technology you saw in NVIDIA's graphics cards that they have now, something along the lines of this 3D memory. Well, guess who's going to be making a lot of 3D memory? That's right, it's going to be Micron. So that's part of the process here. Let's go ahead and take a look at our pricing consensus chart on Zacks.com. So I love this chart. I start off every single one of these shows with it. Tells me a lot of things in a very short period, a very short space here. So first, the most obvious of which is this black line is the price. The right y-axis shows the dollar value of that price, okay? Then you see all these different colored lines that are moving in time. Those are the Zacks consensus estimates over time. So, for example, the red line, that's the 2013 consensus and how that had evolved over time. The blue is 2014, the, Jamaica blue. I bought a polo. It was Jamaica blue. It was that color. So I'm going to call it Jamaica blue. The 2015 line there. Then you got 2016. Looks a little grayish, maybe greenish. I don't know. I'm colorblind, I guess. And 2017, it looks a little copper. A little copper tint to it. So you can see what's kind of bugging me here recently is these estimate revisions have been coming down. And it should come as no surprise that while those estimates came down, the stock price tracked with it. Now you see these little arrows here. The red arrows that point down are times when earnings came in below consensus, below expectations. The green lines are times where we beat earnings here. So, coming off of a huge beat last quarter, 44% upside surprise. That was the third earnings beat in a row. But if your estimates are going down and analysts are revising more and more bearish, it doesn't matter whether or not you beat because we're looking for earnings beats and raises to the upside. So just the initial look at the price consensus and EPS surprise chart tells me that this is a turnaround story. Okay, so this is a stock that had been doing very well, then all of a sudden kind of fell off a cliff, and now we're wondering if this could be the bottom for Micron and are things starting to turn around in the stock. So a couple of the reports that I read were that a lot of the analysts out there are saying that perhaps May was the bottoming point, that they're coming online with some of these new technologies and new chips that they think is going to turn the corner for Micron and that it's going to be smooth sailing ahead. Now, if you take a look at our estimates here, though, I'm going to look at the detailed estimates page on Micron, and here you can see it hasn't really been reflected in the numbers, okay, any of this bullish sentiment. So over the last 30 days, we still have 2 analysts that have revised their earnings estimate to the downside for the current quarter. There's a little bit of a disagreement when you go out towards next quarter or next year. You know, you got one guy basically saying that he thinks things are going to get a little better, revised to the upside, but there's still those two analysts revising the downside. Look at the effect that it's had on the Zacks consensus estimate. 90 days ago, we thought we were going to see a 9-cent loss the current quarter. Now we're looking for an 11-cent loss in the current quarter. And then look at next year's numbers. I mean, this was reflective in the price consensus and EPS surprise chart also, from $1.24 next year down to 98 cents. But it had been as low as 95 cents, so it's turning the corner a little bit. So that might be okay. But then these are the surprises I was talking about. So you had a little bit of a disappointment, the quarter ending in May of 2015. Then we had inline, essentially. Okay, so I guess that wasn't a beat. I'll take that one back from before. And then you had a penny beat and then a 4-cent beat, but they still lost 5 cents, right? So overall, that's why you're seeing this stock as a Zacks rank a number 3 hold right now, because there has not been an analyst that's come out and said, okay, I'm pushing everything up. This thing's going to rocket. You're not seeing a ton of that right now. You might get a little bit of bullish undertone in their analyst reports that they got coming out, but it's not the same as standing out there and saying, you know what, this is going to go higher. And in fact, looking at this page, the last person to come in here and give us an estimate at all came in and revised their number and said we're now looking for a 13-cent loss for the current quarter, which is below the current Zacks consensus estimate calling for an 11-cent loss. So if you're looking at the current quarter, I'm not really expecting any fireworks out of Micron for this quarter. But what this is going to be all about, it's going to be about their guidance for next quarter and how many chips are they going to be able to ship out, how many are they going to manufacture, how much demand has there been. Now, we are going through a seasonally high demand period next quarter for mobile devices and mobile chips, so that's definitely going to be a little bit of a tailwind for them. So we're hoping that that will be reflected inside of their guidance overall too, right? So that's the backdrop that we got here. Now let's dig into the options chain and see if we can't find some actual trades that we can dip into. So I'm just going to use Yahoo Finance for the options chain here. Let's start off the same way here too. I look at in this case, even the front week, because there's expiration tomorrow on these. Looking at the straddle view, I go at the money, so the 13.50 strike price, and I take a look at the call option and the put option. Earlier when I was sitting at my desk, call was going for 55 cents. The put was going for 40. Now we're looking at 62 and 37. So they've moved a little bit, but haven't moved too much. That implies about a 7% move on Micron stock. So that basically takes us, you're looking at the bottom end, 12.75. And then if you're looking at the top end, you're talking 14.50 basically is the range that the options market is pricing in right now. Now let's go ahead and move out from the July 1st strike or expiration to the July 15th expiration. Give this a chance to load itself back up. And I got a couple of trade ideas for you now. All right, so if you're bullish on Micron right now, you know I'm always a big fan of the call spread, because that way, as much as I'm paying for in terms of time value, I'm getting it back on the other end, on the short end of the call. So this way, I'm not too afraid to go out longer. Obviously, this is not that long. You're talking a couple weeks. This is a very quick trade for a very quick return. Also, this isn't exactly investing, people, right? We're talking about trading on earnings plays. So this isn't something you're going to be loading the boat on, okay? When I'm talking about these contracts, you're talking you can throw $100, $200, $300, $400 at them and roll the dice a little bit and see what happens. It's not something that you're going to be putting a big chunk of your money into, okay? If you are looking for some better stock ideas that you can stick around with a little bit longer, we've got a special report for you here. We're going to put the link in for you. It's our top 7 stocks for the next 30 days. It's a compilation of all our analysts here putting together their 7 best ideas for the next month. That's something you could check out for free by clicking down below here. Okay, now back to the options chain. So if I'm bullish on this stock, I'm going to be looking at the 13.50, 14.50 call spread. So here's the 13.50 and the 14.50 call spread. Again, while I was sitting at my desk, I was able to put this on for about 40 cents. So that gives us 40 cents at risk with 60 cents of potential upside to that trade. So if it works out, it's 150% rate of return in a 2-week period of time, which is pretty good. Micron would have to trade above $13.90 at expiration in order for you to be in the money on that one. Your maximum profit coming if Micron trades $14.50 or higher. That's the bullish case. Now for the bearish case, I'm going to give you 2 different bearish trades, and I'm going to show my hand a little bit. I think I'm going to be a little bit on the bearish side here with Micron. Don't want to set you Micron bulls out there. I just think this story, I would rather the story turn around and have confirmation versus me speculating that it's going to turn around. There's just way too much risk, I think, on that side of the trade. So let's look at the bearish case. So the first of which we're going to stick here in this July 15th expiration. And I'm going to look at the 13.50, 13 call spread. So again, when I did this at my desk, it was a little tighter than this, or it wasn't as tight as this, let's put it that way. I could put it on for 20 cents with 30 cents of upside potential. Again, that's the same thing. That's 150% potential gain that I could get. And the only thing that has to happen for me to profit my max profit is that Micron has to close below $13 at expiration. So it's not as far out as even the options volatility would imply. Like I was saying before, that 1275 level is the implied move on this right now. So I'm very comfortable, having that. But rather than just buying a put, I think I want to flip this on its head a little bit and kind of show you a way that we can make money by selling options. So let's go back into here, and I'm going to change to tomorrow's expiration. So that's not a lot of time. The only thing that's on the table, pretty much a little bit of time and a ton of that implied volatility. So we can make money just by sucking in that volatility too, as long as it doesn't go against us. So I'm going to show you this trade real quick. So rather than being long a put spread like we were before, which essentially we're betting on, the stock to go down that much, I'm going to be short a call spread. So in this case, you're kind of taking the optimism that's here and selling into the optimism. So the call spread that I was short earlier was selling the $14 call. And in this case right here, you see the last trade was 36 cents. And then I'll buy the 14.50 call. So in that case, I've got 18 cents that I'm going to put in my pocket. Now, my risk is going to be a little bit different to calculate here. It's not just what I put in. The risk is going to be the difference in these strike prices, so it's 50 cents, minus what I already pocketed. So minus that 18 cents. So now you're talking 32 cents is my risk overall on this one. So you're risking 32. You could potentially make 18 cents. So that's better than 50% return I could potentially get in one day. Now annualize that, right? Now how do you make money on this trade? Well, on this trade, since we've already pocketed the 18 cents, right? Our break even then becomes Micron at 14.18, okay? So anything below 14.18, we're going to make money on. And then as long as it's below $14, we pocket all that 18 cents, and that's our maximum return that we could get. So all that Micron has to do is go down or stay put. So that's why you see there's a less of a payoff for a trade like this, but you also have a much higher likelihood that something like that will occur, because it's not just the binary thing of is it going up or is it going down, and is it going it by a large amount. It could go down or just stay sideways, and you still have a chance to make money. And even if it goes up a little bit, you're going to make money, because the stock's trading at what, 1367, something like that right now. So as long as it doesn't go on a really nice rally, you're going to be okay. You're going to pocket some money. So my official trade of the day today is going to be that short call spread on Micron, and I'm looking for about a 50% rate of return on that, a little bit better than that. So I'm hoping that that's going to work out for you. Again, make sure to chime in below. Let me know what trades you made, if you went ahead on with me and made that trade, or if you went somewhere else, or if you don't like my trade idea, you thought it was silly, you found a better one, whatever it is, chime in below. Let me know. And also, tell us what earnings reports you want to see. What do you want me to preview over the next couple of weeks? Of course, we're going to have Alcoa kicking things off in a little bit here. I know we have a Walgreens Boots Alliance earnings preview I'm going to end up making. So tons of stuff. Keep on chiming in. Keep them coming. And I will see you guys here next week. Thanks a lot.